Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Bridget.
And I'm Wendy.
And this is
Flickin'
Flickin' Beans. Tasty coffee, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. This week's movie was Paint, starring Owen Wilson.
2023. We watched it on Disney?
I watched it on Prime.
Okay. In the words of a Reddit review, I'm sure you've all seen the posters and trailer for Paint. It's the Owen Wilson Bob Ross movie, but he's not Bob Ross. He looks like Bob Ross. He dresses like Bob Ross, but the character is a womanizing asshole who is not at all based on Bob Ross. It's downright confusing and just makes the movie even worse than it would be otherwise. But the real problem is just how dull it is. The movie has a great cast and they're all wasted on lame material that goes nowhere.
Do you agree with it?
I do kind of, yeah.
Okay. It's a PBS show. And we know that dullness from The Delicious Dish.
Yes, sweaty balls.
That's the world of public television, and it is kind of dull. So you think about public television, and you think about Bob Ross, who had a tremendous following. And I'm going to say women.
Sure.
Although he wasn't a womanizer, the fact between Carl Nargle and Bob Ross is that neither of them changed their style.
True.
This movie takes place in like 2006, but he's 1977.
Yeah.
Down to the hairstyle.
He doesn't understand modern technology, even though he lives in this period.
Right.
He's completely oblivious.
His life is going great. Owen Wilson made the comment, sometimes unless you're forced to change, you will never change. You need that push or that impetus. And in his case, it was the younger, cooler painter.
Yeah.
Whose show followed right after his. She was a little outside the box.
Yeah, and she comes on and she paints something other than this mountain that is all he paints.
Just like in Flashdance and the ballet school,
right.
Just like in so many movies. He really, really wants to get one of his paintings in the Museum of Art. Yeah, he drives by it every day, looks wistfully at it, and that's because at one point the curator of the museum said that he didn't have a painting of that mountain.
Yeah.
He differs from Bob Ross. I would say a womanizer, yes, but also women flock. He's not going out and trying to score with women. It just happened.
He's a womanizer in like an ignorant kind of way. Like he's not aware that he's doing this stuff to these women, that they're as emotionally involved as they are with him. Yeah, he's kind of sleazy. Every woman he paint their own painting, but it's still of the mountain. The one girl's was like all dark and stormy.
It's all he can do. The other similarity, though, is Bob Ross painted landscapes.
Yes.
But they were all different and they were all made up. Happy little trees. Did you know Bob Ross had pet squirrels?
I did know that because he would sometimes have them on the show. He'd have one hanging out in his shirt pocket.
Also, that behavior is very 1977.
Yeah.
And you're right, he's not emotionally attached, but they're privileged to, can I take the painting out to Fantastic?
And they put the seatbelt on it.
Except it's oil paint and it would never be dry.
Yeah.
Have we done now like 3 movies in a row about struggling artists?
Yeah.
It's the same story. He's stuck.
Yeah, creatively stuck. He can't paint anything else. He even goes home and like tries to break out of it and ends up painting a huge mural of the mountain on his wall.
Yes. And for me, he was experimenting with all these different painting styles. There was Jackson Pollock, the sex appeal. And he says, I think sometimes being the total package makes it hard for people to see the gift inside. And it's great because it's Owen Wilson and he's a famously awesome straight man. Mm-hmm. He said he's not a mimic, so he didn't try to act like or talk like Bob Ross at all. So he adapts this very whispery, low-talking voice. And even at one point, the producer says, "Are you yelling at me?" His volume did not change. Another funny quote when he was painting the tree, he said, "This is the tallest tree, probably the most impressive shaft the world has ever seen. So if he had another 30 minutes to paint, it would have been a sequoia or a redwood.
If it had time to grow.
One of the things that his competition does is 2 paintings in 1 hour.
Yes.
She painted a rock and a stump.
Yeah, with a UFO. A bloody stump.
A bloody stump with a UFO.
I liked that painting.
I can't imagine anyone who wouldn't except Carl Nargol. When he's getting close on the couch and he says, "Do you want to touch my sandals?"
Yeah, ew.
And it's like he's always in a thick corduroy blazer.
He's got to be hot in that outfit all the time, sweating. And then you pick up his nasty sandal. And she puts it to her face like a pillow.
Nobody would do that with a Birkenstock. Gross. When he finally does take his paintings to the museum, the curator says, "Love to have a Carl Nargol. We just had the walls painted, and that's something we're showing off too.
Yeah.
Maybe you can donate them to a Motel 6.
Yeah.
I think it would tie the whole motel together if every room had the same painting. Oh, he does finally get that haircut. And he says, "Give me the number 4, which is just a shorter afro.
Yeah.
Sweeps it up into a paper bag. And Carl Nargol says, "Can I keep that?"
Yeah. Ew. What do you think he wanted to do with it?
I have no idea. What about when he takes the big M? Marijuana.
I have that written down. The big M, marijuana. He doesn't know about the gummies, and so he eats a whole bag of them.
I would too. I know somebody who was eating some ice cream.
Yeah.
Without actually realizing it. And you know how hard it is to not eat the whole pint?
Yeah, of course.
Wow.
They have like bags of popcorn that are infused and things like that. And the serving size is only like a handful.
No.
You're like, people are going to eat that whole bag. That's a terrible idea.
You might as well put it on a potato chip, man. Yeah. You can't eat just one.
Yeah.
First you get really high and then you finish it.
Right.
Because you have the munchies.
Yeah. They have those infused dinners. Every course has something infused in it. And there's restaurants that do it now too, so you can go and do it. How high are you when you leave? Because if every single thing that you eat is infused.
But people drink and leave.
Oh, yeah.
Drunk, tipsy, high. What's
lightweight?
Sure. Well, you just go for soup and salad then.
Yeah.
Coffee and dessert. Another thing that Owen Wilson said in the interview I watched, which is so true. He's like, we all start out drawing. You know, you have the crayons and the coloring books, and you sit in a restaurant and they hand you crayons. It calms you, quiets you, and feels good.
Yeah.
He's like, why did we ever stop?
At some point, we all discover or are told that our drawing isn't good. You don't always need to do something because you're good at it. You should do stuff because it makes you feel good.
I hope nobody's being told that their drawings aren't good. Some is self-criticism.
Yeah, for sure. You start comparing yourself to other people's work. Yeah. It's just like singing. Not everyone's good at it, but I think there's something very therapeutic about singing because you're like pushing out all this energy. So, I don't know.
When he was a kid, Owen Wilson was doing a drawing. It's all these, you know, flat people, little army men and little airplanes and a sheriff. And he got down on himself because he didn't like the way he drew the sheriff's boot. One of the boots.
Yeah.
Then he said his mom paid him to finish because she wanted it finished, and it hangs in a frame in her house.
Cute.
It is cute. I could tell the boot was whack.
How about the ending? They allude that Carl is Banksy.
He finally changed. I don't know that he would be happy being anonymous, though.
No.
But it's cute because no one knows who Banksy is.
Exactly. Do you think really nobody knows? Probably not all one person. That's what I think.
Well, I mean, Andy Warhol had a whole group, you know, helping make his art.
And Thomas Edison never made anything.
Boom.
He just told other people to do it.
Damn. Throwing shade on Edison.
That's right. And he electrocuted an elephant.
I know. Saw that on Bob's Burgers.
Exactly, me too.
Imagine.
I could do a whole podcast on Bob's Burgers.
Stop listening to them and
Listen to us.
Well, did we do it?
I think we did it.
We flicked
Like some beans. Okay, love you. Bye.
Bye.